Nice. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff of Eutelsat HOTBIRD 13G. Go Falcon 9.
Nominal first stage chamber pressures.
Vehicles pitching downrange.
Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, carrying Eutelsat HOTBIRD 13G satellite. Now, during ascent, the M1D engines will actually swivel and help steer Falcon 9, and this is known as gimbal. The rocket autonomously tilts the engines.
Supersonic.
The rocket autonomously tilts the engines just a few degrees, and this gimbaling allows the vehicle to perform a gravity turn, which is when we are going vertical but also going horizontal, and you can kind of see that on your screen there.
Max Q.
Great call out. We've just passed through Max Q. That is the largest structural load that the vehicle sees on ascent. After we pass through Max Q, we can now begin to throttle up the 9 M1D engines on stage 1. And in just about a minute, we'll have 3 events happening back to back. The first will be MECO, stage separation, and then SES-1, which is second stage engine start 1. Got some really cool views.
And back is showing in.
Really cool views of those 9 M1D engines on the first stage. Now, MECO is main engine cutoff, and that's where all 9 of those engines will shut down, and that prepares the vehicle for stage separation. Then stage 1 can make its way back down to Earth, while stage 2 continues with SES-1, or second stage engine start 1. That's where we will ignite that MVAC engine on the second stage for the first time for this mission. Again, coming up here in just a few seconds, we will have MECO, stage separation, and SES-1.
MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
MVAC ignition.
And there we could see MECO stage separation on your right-hand screen. That MVAC engine is lighting up there. Coming up next, we will have fairing separation. The fairing halves flying today are flight proven, one half flying for the 4th time and the other for a 6th time. And on your left-hand screen is a view of the first stage. The grid fins have now deployed.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there you can see on your right-hand screen the fairing halves being jettisoned. Now we will be attempting to retrieve these fairing halves again today once they fall back down to Earth using our recovery ship, Bob.
Acquisition signal, Bermuda.
T+4 minutes into today's mission. That call out there was just acquisition of signal of one of our ground stations. Now we're in the first of 2 planned MVAC burns prior to satellite deployment, and that's what you're seeing there on your screen is the MVAC on the second stage. The next event will be first stage entry burn, and that'll occur around T+6 minutes and 30 seconds. And you should also be able to see that on your screen. Now for that entry burn, we relight 3 M1D engines, starting with the center one, which is the E9 engine, followed shortly thereafter by E1 and E5 engines. This burn is the first of 2 planned burns for the first stage and slows the vehicle down as it passes back into the Earth's atmosphere. Now stage 1 does need to slow down to reduce the re-entry forces, and that helps us to recover and reuse the vehicles.
Vehicle on nominal trajectory.
And great callouts. Vehicle is on nominal trajectories. That entry burn is just under 1.5 minutes away. And as a reminder, with a unique pan-European coverage, the high-power HOTBIRD satellites at 13 degrees east form one of the largest broadcasting systems in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, delivering 1,000 television channels to more than 160 million TV homes. Now, during the re-entry burn, Falcon 9 is decelerating by firing its Merlin engines, but it's still moving very rapidly. This causes the vehicle to fly through the Merlin's exhaust gases, which is also called the rocket's plume. And this thin layer of soot from Falcon 9's carbon-based fuel, kerosene, is deposited onto the exterior of the vehicle. Again, entry burn for the first stage is in just under 20 seconds from now.
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And as you can see, your left-hand screen light up there. Those 3 engines have ignited. This entry burn will last about 25 seconds long.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
And that concludes the entry burn for the first stage. Now, for those that might not be familiar with why we land our rockets, reusability is key to lowering the cost of spaceflight, which enables more investments in critical science research. And the Falcon 9 first stage that is supporting today's mission performed this entry burn for the 7th time tonight, previously launching CRS-22, Crew 3, Turksat 5B, Crew 4, CRS-25, and 1 Starlink mission. Now we're about 30 seconds away from the next couple of events. Next up will be SECO 1, which is second stage engine cutoff 1. And that's when we shut down that MVAC engine on the second stage.
Stage 1 transonic.
And we allow that second stage to coast. And then shortly after
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Shortly after SECO 1, we'll have the landing burn starting on the first stage.
Go.
Stage 1 landing burn.
There we've had SECO and stage 1 landing burn has begun. Let's watch as Falcon 9 touches down on just read the instructions.
Landing leg deploy.
Nominal orbit.
Stage 1 landing
insertion.
confirmed.